Good morning, Breakfast Club family. This is Mark Stevens, your host, Joe Shoup. Top of the morning to you, the first day of the week. At least to us it is. Some people, it's Friday. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Exciting day. Exciting things are happening. Hope you have a great weekend. Joe will be along shortly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something with you. Again, reverting back to our business ad tech presentation to show you why it's so pertinent and important. Because there are things happening in our nation behind the scenes that many of you probably have no inkling of, or may even not even understand. But I will share with you anyway. And then when Joe comes in, he'll share what the things that he needs to share with you. Let me see here. Hold on one second. Okay. Well, this is what I want to share with you. Now, as you know, in our AdTech business presentation, I've often told you that that presentation is designed for a couple of things. It's designed to help people get their financial house in order. It tells them about the past. It also tells them about the present, and it also tells them about the future. It's a journey. And the other thing is this. What it does, it sets us up as the answer to pretty much what's in that business presentation. And I have fun with it, which is what I want you to do. But this is what I want to share with you, because a lot of times, many of us think that what we do, that we're in control of everything, and that's not the case. We have, in our country, have had a financial system put upon us that, if you know anything about it, you really wouldn't like it. We don't determine what we pay for gas. We don't determine what we pay for a house. We don't determine what we pay for a car. We don't even determine how much we get paid. It's determined by somebody else. And it's called the Fed and the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor do they have any reserves. Now, I know it said that, well, Mark, we shouldn't talk about three-letter agencies. Well, that's more than a three-letter agency. It says Federal Reserve, and I guess short for Fed, so I guess that maybe makes it three-letter. But let me tell you something. When things are happening that affect my family, you that I love and care so much about, I'll take my chances in getting in trouble to protect you. And this is what you need to know. You know, most people think that when things cost so much and everything, they really get worried about it. They don't really know why it costs so much. And as I often say, it's not that things cost so much, it's just that our dollar, based on a system, this fiat system that they have us under, is going down in value. It's not that things cost a lot, it's that it's going down in value. Because when you really understand it, the nuts and bolts of it all, $1 million house today shouldn't cost us but $100,000. For real, that's the real cost it should be. Because of this fiat system and creating money out of thin air and then charging you all this interest for something you really never got the money for, that is asinine. It's ridiculous. But that is the system that we're under, and we've been that way for over 100 years. And people who try to do something about it generally get eliminated. A la 9/11, a la John Fitzgerald Kennedy, others as well. But I'm not going to go down that deep rabbit hole today, but I am going to let you know this. I'm going to let you know, whether you realize it or not, and whether you believe it or not, that your country, our country, the greatest country on the planet, the United States of America, is broke. It's insolvent. And the reason is because it's privately owned by the U.S. Federal Reserve, by the bankers. And guess what? It is asinine backwards in derivatives. Derivatives are nothing but paper with nothing backing it. And that's why in 2007, 2008, when the banks went under, the government basically used our tax money, the taxes that we pay every year, to bail out the banks and didn't bail us out yet. We were losing homes and going in foreclosure and all that kind of crazy stuff. Well, let me tell you something. Derivatives are tied to major worldwide central banks. And I'll give you an example of some of those banks. And you can look it up and check them out. Bank of Japan, European Central Bank. You hear them talk about that all the time. And the German Deutsche Bank. These banks are all connected worldwide with tentacles. And they, as far as I'm concerned, they rip us off. Now, the Fed right now is illegally, and it's clearly outside the charter, using our money to buy back bogus loans from Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. And not using, they're using cash, but not using cash, but derivatives. And, so basically what they take is naked short positions, and what that does, it versus the Treasury bonds and the U.S. Treasury notes, which is the real things that we're supposed to use if we're going to do that. And it's not good. It hurts. It destroys an economy. The more money that's printed, the less value you have in your current currency. And this is why countries like Greece and like that have gone under. Germany in the old days gone under. Their pictures you can find out and see where they had their money on the streets and use them for toilet paper. Because any country, I don't care what it is, any country that plays with paper money in place of real money, which we all know as what? GOLD, runs its course and eventually it runs out. And that's what the politicians allow because they're paid, and the banking cartel. So, and then, like I told you, a lot of times there's secret laws that are passed late at night while we're asleep. And it affects you and you don't even know about it. And, for example, thanks to the treasonous Dodd-Frank Act that was signed by George Bush, and which was fraud as far as I'm concerned, the checking and savings deposits of us, you, me, Americans, are now subject to being looted by, the criminal banking cabal. 90% of both elected Republicans and Democrats are in the U.S. Congress, and they allowed this. They voted for this. They did that because they are paid, hired hands, and you're going to see that very soon. Now, think about this. It can now be divulged that privately owned U.S. Federal Reserve, and that is controlled by actually the Bank of England. I've been telling people our tax money goes to England. I guess I'm kind of down a rabbit hole, but I feel good. I feel like talking. I feel like telling the truth. And think about this. It's controlled by the Bank of England. And they've been accommodating the Bank of America and J.P. Morgan, banks like that, Morgan Chase, and the New York Mellon Bank in disguising what they use is massive wraparound, non-collateralized, those are derivatives, without margin. In other words, a bank is supposed to be able to lend out so much money based on what they have in the bank. But they do crazy things. They pay you less than 1% on your money to put in a passbook savings, and they make 40, 35, 40% overnight and pay you that little bit of money. That's why the biggest buildings in town, walk down your main street in your town and look at the biggest buildings. I guarantee you that they're banks. And this derivative debt is tied to Bank of America and the George Bush fraud. Henry Paulson, mortgage-backed securities, that scam that helped wreck and destroy, along with Bear Stearns, who went out of business, the U.S. economy in 2007, 2008. We had to pay for it. Now, when the banks go under, and they will be going soon, guess what? you won't get your money. That's why I told you to get it out of the bank. Yes, I said it. If they're going to come back on me, they just have to come back on me. But that's what I did. And I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you, I don't trust banks. I do not trust the banks. Now, these are mortgage-backed securities, which are worthless, by the way. They are worthless. And they continue to be used as assets. And what they are really massive liabilities. And they use them as collateral to depreciate the value, you know, of other currencies like the Japanese yen. And, you know, and they appreciate the value of the US dollar for the purpose of inflating, you know, what you call massive, you know, US and worldwide stock market bubble, which is about to burst, like I've been telling y'all. You know, it seems like, oh man, it's up high. You know, our 401ks is doing great or whatever. Well, it's about to burst. And I don't want to see you get caught up in it. And that's why I have moved massive amounts of you know, money from 403B into gold so they don't steal it. And the best thing to do is keep it offshore. And that's in the carrot ball vaults. Only take what you want to show and share with people. But like I said, I don't trust any of them up there on Capitol Hill, and I live about a half hour, 20 minutes away. I don't trust them. Don't trust them. But in closing, so we can get on something of a more positive note, and I don't consider that a negative note. I consider that knowledge that you need to know to protect yourself. So I don't call that negative. Now, you know, for example, you know, the Labor Department has already, you know, it's been leaked to worldwide crooks. You know, the banks and about the banks and it's bogus and what they're doing. And you know, it's sad, but the current administration counts us US citizens that work, you know, we work, for example, a half an hour a week in which is less than a part-time job as an employed individual. And guess what? We still have to give a lot of our money to taxes that go somewhere else and everything. I tell you, well, goes to the Vatican and a portion of it goes to the Queen of England. For what? What have they done for us? What do they do for us? I'm telling you, it's been planned that way and it's still going on, but I believe in my heart that it's coming to a stop. If you see in your news, which is slanted, if you see bankers committing suicide and bankers getting killed, it's because a lot of them now are trying to save their behind side, and those that start talking about what they know are eliminated. That's why you're seeing that kind of stuff happen. And you're going to see a lot more before it's all over. So with that being said, I let that cat out of the bag. So let me check the chat box. And if anybody want to make some comments, you're welcome to do so. Because like I said, I want to help protect you. I want you to know what's going on, because you need to know that. And also to show how important our ad tech business presentation is. Because let me tell you, the American dollar cannot compare to gold. And remember, we were backed by gold until 1971 when Tricky Dick Nixon took us off the gold standard. That's why everything costs so high today, because we've been off the gold standard since 1971. And then the Fed goes and print this QE1. They call it quantitative easing, which is supposed to make the economy better and whatever. The economy is sick. QE1, QE2, QE3. They want to keep on queuing it up on your back and my back. But I'm not standing for it. I'm going to show that presentation until my larynx falls out. And I'm going to share it and share it and share it and tell people, you need to do something. Here's the past. Here's the present. And here's the future. Now it's up to you. Because I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to just share the facts with you. And then you can determine what you want to do on your own. But I will tell you what I'm doing. Well, Mark, what'd you do? Well, That's what I did. I moved the money. Remember, the money game is what? Remember we talked about the money game? I said the money game is you find a pile of money that's losing its value and getting a low rate of return, and you show those individuals how to move that money, give them a better return, and charge them a small fee. That's what we do at Karatbars, basically. What do? We don't buy gold. We exchange paper dollars, fiat currency, for the real money, which is gold. And guess what? They pay us to do that. Can you imagine? They pay us to do that. So if your bank that you bank at now told you that they would pay you $1 or $5 for every person that you sent to them, would you do it? You probably would. But they don't do that. But if you went to a great movie, you would tell somebody about it. But does the movie pay you for that? I don't think so. But guess what? We can show people how to exchange their paper money for the real money and get paid for everybody that we do that for. So what are we waiting for? We should be trying to do that as much as we can, 8 days a week. I know it's only 7 days in a week, but it seems like I'm working 8 days a week. I can tell you that, and everything. And let me say this, because I like to keep it real. You're gonna run into some people that they don't even believe you. They don't believe. I was teaching a session one time, and I had a few people say, our government wouldn't do that to us. I don't believe that until I proved it to them. And I never like to tell people I told you so. I don't like to do that, and I don't. I try my very best. I say, well, consider this. And I don't argue with them. I say, I beg to differ with you, because I don't want to argue, because argue is negative energy. I don't want to do that. I want to get you protected. That's all I want to do. So let's see here. Let me look in the chat box again. Okay, I don't see any questions. So, well, let's see here. Joe hasn't come in yet, but while we're waiting on Joe, let me share something with you. You know, the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about your business. What are you doing? What do you want? Things like that. Well, you know, sometimes people are not ready to start their own business, and there are reasons for it. But we need to know, and we need to take a look at ourselves. Are we really ready to start our own business? You know, we ask people, how do you see the next 5 years? In other words, if the next 5 years were like the last 5, do you see yourself getting ahead or getting behind? And, you know, we ask those questions. And some people they just really don't know. They're afraid. They don't know. They've never had this type of experience and everything. All they know is, I'm not making any money. All they know is that I've lost my job. I've done this. I've done that. Well, there are a lot of people who were glad they lost their job because it made them get out on their own and create their own business. And now they're making more than that supervisor from hell that they were dealing with on the job. Now, wouldn't we like a lot of beautiful stories like that? That's what I live for, to be able to help somebody do that. So if you really think about it, starting a new business is exhilarating. Why? Because a world of possibility awaits. As a matter of fact, including the possibilities of incredible success. But then again, you can have catastrophic failure as well. But guess what? What do we have? We have a system that will help you not fail if you follow the system. So the key is, do you want incredible exhilaration, or do you want catastrophic failure? And I know that's a rhetorical question, because we all want, incredible success. And here's the thing: the dichotomy, you know, between those two extremes leads many people, I hate to say it, you know, to purgatory because of indecision, and it makes them apprehensive in making that final push to become an entrepreneur. But An entrepreneur is what? An entrepreneur is a risk taker. We take risk. You've heard this, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You have to take risks. If you take risks, you can get rewards. If you don't, you never know. You just never know. And guess what? There's never, ever a perfect time to start a business. People may say that, but it's not. It's never, ever a perfect time to start a business, no matter how long you wait. Because guess what? If you keep doing that, you'll never be experienced enough, and you'll never have enough capital. And remember, why do businesses fail? Two main things. Number one is lack of capital, and number two is mismanagement. So lack of capital, and you know, you'll have zero risk. You'll never have zero risk. There's always a chance that your business will fail. That's always a chance. But guess what? There's always a chance that it will succeed as well. It's what you do. It's what you're made of. That being said, now, there are no perfect times to start a business, like I just said. There are good times to start a business. And, you know, when you think about it, if you have experienced one of the 5 things I'm going to go over with you, it could be time for you to finally begin your entrepreneurial journey. Now, those of us that's in here right now, we are in our entrepreneurial journey. How's that coming for you? The question is, you have to ask yourself, what do you want? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what are you willing to give to make it successful? What do you want, and what are you willing to give to make it successful? If you can get those 2 questions answered by somebody, you can help them. You can help them. And that's what we need to be doing. That's exactly what we need to be doing. So, first of all, number 1 is simply this. Let's say that those of you that have a job, and you know my definition of a job, you've heard it many times before, just over broke. And I say you go so far than that, it's like jump off a bridge, J-O-B. Well, is your job no longer fulfilling? These are 5 signs that I want to share with you that you're ready to start your own business. Number 1, your job is no longer fulfilling. Because you know what? In every job, you're going to have good days and bad days. And just because you have a few bad days in a row doesn't necessarily mean that the only way, you know, out is to start your own business. Doesn't necessarily mean that. But if through those good and bad days, you feel like your job truly isn't fulfilling, it may be time to consider owning your own business. Think about that. And see, here's the thing. Typically, people stop feeling fulfilled when they're unable to do the work that they want to do. Because sometimes they want to do it their own way and it's not the right way. Or they do it the right way and that supervisor from hell say, that's still not right, I want it this way. Because they may have had a personal problem at home or with their boyfriend or the girlfriend, the significant other, or whatever like that, and they end up taking that out on you. That make you want to get out of there. And often, you know, this is because someone else is calling all the shots as well. But the only way you can call the shots is that you have to have your own business. And if you're thrilled at the idea of setting your own schedule, I've always been like that. Delegating your own tasks and tackling the work you want to tackle, guess what? It may be time to pursue entrepreneurship. That's how I did it. And actually, I started out at 12 years old, eons and eons ago. But I just wanted to have something of my own and be able to help other people since I was 12 years of age. And now I'm 112. Well, not really. Anyway, number 2, you understand the risk of business ownership. You have to understand the risk of business ownership. Now, of course, it's not good. It's not a good idea to just simply jump into business ownership. Why? Because there's serious risk involved. Remember, I talked about risk a little while ago. And only when you understand those risks can you fully and should you fully consider yourself ready to take the next step. You need to understand the risk. Now, before you make any major decisions, do some research. Do some research. Because guess what? You may already be aware of some of the more obvious risks, such as losing capital investment, losing the money that you put in your business, or losing your current, but you can lose your current job. You know, and you can run into legal problems, things like that. But you may find, you know, more than you thought existed. You'll find that as well in some cases. So that's why I say it's really helpful to talk to other entrepreneurs in your area, especially the ones who have started a business and failed. So, or either you can talk to, in our case, we can talk to other affiliates, because a lot of affiliates have failed or they're failing, and talk to them why. We think we know the reason, and this is why Joe and myself and, you know, a lot of people like Bob Coons, you know, a lot of people do what we do to help you, because not only are we helping you, but we're learning ourselves and helping ourselves. And the best way to learn, believe it or not, is by somebody else's experience. You don't want to experience that, especially the negative things, but you want to learn from their experience. So, you know, now number 3 is simply this: you have an idea you're passionate about. Whatever you do, you need to be passionate about it. Whatever business, you know, that'll let you know if you're ready for your own business too. And I've always been passionate about finances, and because numbers have always excited me, because numbers never lie. People do. Now people mess with the numbers and make it a lie, but no, numbers never lie. Just like really our 12-week plan, it's a numbers game. It doesn't lie. If you do that, it can happen, but it's not happening for a lot of people, because a lot of people are not really necessarily willing to do what it requires to do that. But if you do that, then it can happen. So that's why it's based on numbers. It's not based on a science, anything like that. It's based on numbers. So you want to be passionate. I'm passionate about replacing fiat currency with gold, precious metals. So if you're thinking about entrepreneurship, you probably already have an idea of what you're going to do. And when you're thinking the way we think, you should know what you want to do, because what do we talk about? We talk about you having a CCMP, a clear, concise mental picture of what you want to do and how you want to do it. And, you know, it's one that you got to be very interested in and passionate about. But sometimes, I know, sometimes you're just not sure of all the details. Well, that's what we try to give you. And this is why we have this Breakfast Club. This is why we have this family, because we want to share with each other to give you these things so that you can be successful. And to be perfectly honest with you, my definition of a successful person is one who takes advantage of an opportunity. That's my definition of a successful person. You first must take advantage of the opportunity. Now, believe it or not, there's a second option, and you know that option is a better sign that you're ready to start a business. Even if you have a great idea on paper, you know, you have to be passionate about it to want to do it, and you have to be driven to make the idea successful. So we should, what I'm saying, Breakfast Club family, we should be passionately driven to do what we do, because the most successful entrepreneurs, believe it or not, are ones who begin with passion in their hearts. And if you've already found yours, you could be ready to begin. And I think those of us that are here, we felt like we found it with, you know, AdTech Worldwide and through Carrot Bars International. At least that's how I feel. Now, number 4 is simply this: you should have a support system, and I don't think you can deny that you don't have that here. Because see, very few entrepreneurs are able to go it alone. Very few. So while you may be the only person making decisions because you're at the top in your business, you're going to need friends, family members, resources, and mentors who can guide you through, the toughest decisions that you have to make and everything. And is that not what we do here at the Breakfast Club? Hopefully, we're doing a good job. Hopefully, we're helping you because that's our only purpose. And like Bob said yesterday, he mentioned that, I've mentioned on a number of occasions. I'll tell you this, 99.9% of the people that come to the Breakfast Club is no way connected to me in Carrot Bars. Don't make a dime. But you know what? I don't care about that. What I do care about, I care about loving you, I care about helping you, and I care about you being successful. That's what I care about. Everything else will take care of itself. That's the way I look at it. That's the way Joe and I look at it. Now, but the other thing too, you have to take into consideration, and I'm serious about this, your spouse, your children, and your friends, they need to know your desire for entrepreneurship because entrepreneurship is not easy. And even if you're not sure about it, you need their support through the process. So, you share with them what you're doing and you share with them why and everything. So that's the fourth thing. So, in some cases, that may mean being ready to pick up an additional income should the business not turn out. If it's not working out for you, you may have to do something else, but you can come back because in Carrot Bars, you can always come back. You can always come back. Now, last but not least, number 5, you have to know what's important to you. Now, remember I said, don't let anybody put any pressure on you. Don't let anybody be telling you all these crazy things and everything like that, because you need to know what's important to you. See, because the reason I say that is simply this. Some people go their whole lives without realizing what's actually important to them. They may think that, being their own boss is what matters to them, but guess what? They still may feel unfulfilled when they actually attain that position. Remember, I say you have to have passion for it and you want to be fulfilled. So what you're going to have to do is take a critical look at your motivation. What motivates you to become an entrepreneur? What pushes you? Well, actually, you got to push yourself. You got to push and pull yourself. But there are people that are around you that want to help you, like us. So I'm going to close with this. Don't be discouraged if the first few, phases starting out don't turn out to be what you expected, because you got us to help. Because remember, there are people out there that all they want to know is, did you go get me my money today? They're not going to teach you. They're not going to share with you. They're not necessarily going to encourage you. The encouragement is, go out there, throw it up against the wall, and bring me my money. That's not the way AdTech Worldwide does it. We don't do it that way. We're not built that way. We're going to educate you so that you can get your financial house in order. And because entrepreneurship is a volatile world, to be perfectly frank with you, like I told you, I like to keep it real. But as long as you stay committed to improving your ideas and you continue to work hard, you'll always have a chance to succeed. And that's what we want for you. So with closing, what I want you to do, family, I want you to trust yourself. Trust yourself. Otherwise, you run the risk of failing before your business gets off the ground. We don't want to see that happen. Trust yourself. Have that confidence in yourself. You're here because you're supposed to be here, and this is supposed to work for you because you have the passion, you have the talent, you have the wherewithal, and you have the system, and you have the product to take it to the next level. So with that being said, let me check and see if we got any questions in the chat box. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat box. Anybody have any questions before I close? I give you a minute. Think about what I said, because that's what it takes. And like I said, I promise you, if you do those things, and you consider that, and consider what we've been doing, come talk to me a year from now, and let's look at your income. It might be off the charts. It can be off the charts, but you know who that's up to? That's up to you. That's up to you. Okay, with that being said, peace and blessings to you. Love you all. Joe loves you all. We continue to keep working for you, to bring things to you, to help you out. Go out and make it a great day. Touch somebody's life. Show them a new career, even if it's a part-time basis. You know, part-time, really when you think about it, what's part-time, what's full-time? It's what you give to it. Because some people working this business part-time is making more money than people are working on their full-time job. It's because of the commitment that they have. So go out and touch somebody today. Let them know that they can make a change in their life, because what do we know? The most important economy is the one in our very own home. And guess what? The world needs us. We need each other. So let's go out and help make some changes, but first, let it first be in the change in us that we want to see in the world. So peace and blessings to you. With the first day of the week today, start planning for next week. We're going to have some exciting things. Bring somebody to the Breakfast Club. Let them get educated. It will be beneficial to them, to you, and to the affiliates that you bring in. So this is Mark Stevens, our host, Joe Shute, saying peace and blessings to you, everyone. Go out and make it a great day, and we will see you Monday on the Breakfast Club.